want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want.
Hey guys, Coach Dan here. I'm a exercise and science degree holder. Just got my honors as well. I am a personal trainer and coach of over 10 years now. I've been training in gyms for over 20 years, and today I'm going to go through my lower body workout. So for me, this is week 8 of a fat loss phase, and this is a lower body workout that I do on this fat loss phase, and you can take lessons from that of how to structure them for your days. And again, just generally taking the lessons overall. There's no this is the only way to do it, it's just the way that I do it. So something that's recently happened to me over the last 3 or so weeks that I've been working through is an adductor issue, which kind of seems to be pretty close to iron out. So I'm able to increase and incorporate some other things that I haven't been doing up until now, or for the last 2 or 3 weeks. And yeah, that's where we're at. So lower body today starts off posterior chain dominant, or on my other lower body day, I have a quad dominant exercise to start, and it's more quads in that workout. On this day, posterior, so hamstrings to start off with, and then a little bit of quads as well. And glutes are in there in both, calves are in there in both, so on and so forth. Anyway, let's go over the workout. So I'm going to really front load the energy on the belt squat machine today, because I've got a few exercises that I want to do, and they're all on the belt squat, and that's efficient. As long as there aren't people in the gym who I'm holding up, I'm going to do these exercises all on the belt squat before I move on. So exercise number 1, stiff-legged deadlift on the belt squat. So that has been pretty good. Instead of doing, say, a barbell version, there's high stability there. It feels really effective on the hamstrings. The technique is really good, all that kind of stuff. So I'm really happy there. With that, I'm also going to start doing squats on the belt squat machine. So next up after that, we're going to do squats. I had last week when I did this, when I was trying to find exercises to do because of my adductor, I did that with heels elevated. But today I might not need to do that because I'm feeling pretty close to 100%. Then on there, I'm also going to do calf raises. Now, if I can do all 3 of these, so a belt squat calf raise, if I can do all 3 of these back to back to back, we'll be very efficient. We'll be on a good speed for this workout. We won't be here for 8 hours. All right, followed up after that, then we're going, because again, due to efficiency, I'm going to use the machine adduction as well as machine abduction, and the same machine does both functions here. So I'm going to do them as a superset. That'll make life really easy. Simple little change of the whatever you call them, knee pads around, and you just crank it to the opposite. And again, I can go back to back without them affecting each other too much, and yeah, saving a good chunk of time. Then we have a lying hamstring curl today. I might start doing a combination of rep ranges for that, so that will be slightly different. So a slightly heavier rep range or a slightly heavier weight for a lower rep range, and then a back offset. And then GHD sit-ups to finish us off and to get our ab work in. So that should be the workout. These workouts have been a little bit, had to mess around with them a little bit, was working around my injury, and now start to increase some of the things I can do again. And again, being at the back end of a fat loss phase, there's some challenges that come along with that due to fatigue and just general overall, just feeling tired and low energy and stuff like that. But I'm happy that this adductor issue has kind of ironed itself out, and we can start to, add some of these things back in. Yep, that's all I've really got for you. Everything's going pretty well. Fat loss is going well. Weight is trending down. We have 2 weeks remaining, and we just keep on keeping on. All right, let's hit that belt squat. Everyone better watch out because I'm bags in that thing. Let's go. All right, first up, we are going the belt squat stiff-legged deadlift. So we're biasing this for us as much towards the hamstrings and essentially the glutes as possible. So what you'll do is the belt squat normally up on a notch here. You've normally got a belt for squats, which I'm going to do after that as well. But instead we take a bar like this or some version of straight bar. I've seen people do it with the neutral grip seated row. This feels a bit more comfy to me. And we're going to do a stiff-legged deadlift. So we get increased stability here, which is good. The resistance is different than if you did it, say, with a barbell, because a bar comes straight down with gravity. Here, because now it's on a hinge, it's changing resistance as we go, and depending on how your machine is built, the resistance will be different at the bottom than it is on the way up and at different stages, and that could be a good thing, that could be a bad thing. For here, it's probably an okay thing. You know, there is some suggestion that things should be made harder in the stretched or the lengthened position, but again, not everything has to be maxed out. Like, you don't have to have everything optimized. This, as far as it's got good stability, I feel a good stimulus, it works pretty well for me. So I'm going to take this bar. There are 3 notches on this belt squat, and that's, I wouldn't be too concerned about which one you choose. Other than that, each time you go back, choose the same one, because essentially it'll change your leverage. The further you are away from that hinge point will change your leverage. So I know I'm always the middle one. So I'll clip my clip into the middle one, get myself set, back tight, hips high, feel hamstring stretch, up and squeeze the glutes, stretch, up. And that's that. Really good variation. Not every gym has belt squats yet in my experience, so that might be a potential downside. They're not everywhere yet, but they are very good machine. Again, I can do, well, today I'm going to do stiff-legged deadlift, belt squat and calf raise. I don't see too many people around training legs, so we should be good for that. And that's us. All right, morale is high. Let's use this to our advantage. All right, next up we have the machine, abduction and adduction, because I do these both on this day. I do them as a superset because it's the same machine, we just have this rotation of this pad. So superset makes it really easy, saves us a bit of time. So adduction is where the machine is out here and you pull your knees towards one another, and it works a group of muscles that are called the adductors, and they sort of run through the inner thigh. Easy peasy, you essentially set the pads up so they're facing out. Take this out as oh, you've got to get stuff out of the way. Take this out as far as your flexibility will allow. Lean back is usually good for this because we open up the hip, and because those adductors can also help with hip flexion, hip extension will stretch them out further. So leaning back is usually pretty good. Knees towards one another. Open up, knees towards. Now, for the opposite, the abduction, which is more targeting the glutes and some of the muscles through your hips, I do a unique thing, and then I get these pads and I'll stand up and I'll jam them in here like such, and then this is going to allow for extra range of motion. So for this, again, pushing my knees further this way gets me extra stretch and range of motion. The other thing that I do is I flex at the hip, and then we drive out, in, out. So yes, because the abductors, or this motion, these muscles here, or glutes, let's talk, the hip flexion will help stretch them more, and this being pushed in will stretch them further. All right, so we have come full circle back to the belt squat now. In a perfect world, I would have done my deadlifts from earlier. I would have done this, what I'm going to do now, belt squat, and I would have done my calf raises, but we don't live in a perfect world. Someone needed to use it. So I've gone from that, done my deadlifts, went over, did my abductions, and now we're back because it's available. So off camera, I've been playing around with my technique. Now, last week when I introduced this, I had my heels elevated, but I reduced the range of motion a touch from what I'm capable of. Now, due to my adductor, or what I suspect was my adductor injury or issue, has pretty much gone away. Now I can go back to somewhat regular training. And off camera, I've just been playing around with what settings. So just like the deadlift, there are 3 settings here, 1, 2, 3. Now, leverage-wise, the further you are away, essentially, the more it's going to, like the more leverage you're going to be to do the movement. So you're going to be able to lift more weight over here. Now, there would be reasons to either go on these 3 notches, here, or here, like you think this is going to get you extra range of motion as well. I'm going to set myself on the furthest notch this way, and the reason being is because, yeah, again, that would have me lift the less weight as possible, but get the most stimulus from it, not leveraging me. So over here, if you think about, I don't know too much about working on tools, but if you had like a spanner and you got a bolt here and you take the handle here, we're really strong. But if you take it right by the bolt, you're not as strong. So that's what's going on here. If I take it here, I've got a long lever. If I take it here, I've got a shorter lever. I don't know exactly how to calculate how much difference that distance makes, but essentially we call that a moment arm. So the other thing, I've got these boxes here because I'm just, again, limited by a touch of range of motion. So feet on, I like a pretty narrow stance on here. Hook in, up, handle out, remain somewhat upright. Nice knee flexion, drive out of the bottom. Beautiful. Haven't done this one in a while, so it's good to be back. Since last week. Happy with it. And yeah, I might build up to a top set, being that things are feeling better. So a top set of 6 to 8 reps, and then a back off of, or 2 back offs, 8 to 15-ish. It's a good exercise for a high rep range versus like a back squat because it's not kind of loading your system. You don't get maybe as out of breath as you might with a back squat as well. All right, let's build up to what we're going to be using and get going. All right, squats done. Same machine, we're going calf raises. So again, just for efficiency's sake, we're going bup, bup, bup. Can't always do them all together because of availability and stuff, or whatever, so I'd have to come back around to this, but all in all, now I don't have to move on to another thing, get weights out for that, I can just go straight away. So good stuff on the belt squats, by the way, that's good. I feel like my technique is sound, I feel like my setup's pretty good, I feel like my quads are pretty jacked, so we're all a go there. So happy days. So now for the calf raise, we're going to go to the furthest notch away because we're further back this way. So if we click in here and set our calves up off the edge, we're going to be like pulling in this direction. So all the way to the end so we can get that weight directly underneath us. Clip in, heels down, feel that stretch, raise up. All right, that's all there is to it. We've got some weight to add and then we're on. Happy with those belt squats. I know I already said it, but that's cool. Quads feel pumped, that's good stuff. All right, not finishing off actually. We've come to the GHD to do our sit-up, so ab work first because the hamstring curl was unavailable. So essentially what we're going to do is we're going to line our lumbar spine up with this. We're going to do a sit-up over this, and what that's going to do, it's going to help stretch out the abs and then contract. Now, if you standardly do a sit-up on the ground, a lot of it can come from hip flexion, so you're doing that motion. It sure can be abs, like you feel them for sure, but I'm trying to make it really dominated by the abs. So I'm going to set my lumbar curve up here, and then essentially stretch my abs over that, what do you call this thing? Pad. So I'll shuffle forward, get my lumbar curve over that, and I'm thinking open that up, close that down, open it up. I want to try and make as little hip flexion as possible, so it's all abs. All right, we have, of recent time, been doing this with a dumbbell, so let me go get that, and we can get started. Okay, we cap things off with the lying hamstring curl. So the lying hamstring curl, potentially less effective than the seated hamstring curl for training the hamstrings directly. So they've got some direct research, and that might be due to being in the stretch position, but it has some other advantages. It trains another muscle through your inner leg called the sartorius a little bit better, it would appear from a little bit of research, but it doesn't mean that the lying hamstring curl is not worthwhile at all. It just means that potentially for the hamstrings, being in that pre-stretch position has some merit. So, but I do that on another day, so this is another variation for me. Now, something that I have changed up on here recently is doing some different rep ranges, so doing a top set like I do on some of my other movements, and then doing a back off set. I find it pretty difficult to get better at the hamstring curl, both the seated and this particular variation. So, yeah, for whatever reason, I've got to kind of mix things up. It might be because on this day I buckled myself with the stiff-legged deadlift that I'm really pumped about how well that went. I'm really pumped about how everything went today, so we're happy with that. But hamstring curl lying, there's not too much to it. Gyms across the world will have a hamstring curl pretty much. That there, you want to kind of set on the back of your ankle, such enough that you can pull it. It's not falling off. But I wouldn't recommend taking it up your leg too far. Essentially what that's going to do, it's probably going to be, yes, it'll be fine, but again, what will happen eventually is that you'll have to lift heavier weight than if it was away from your leg, so there's a potential that might, more strain on your body and that kind of stuff. Lay down, back of your ankle, get yourself some stability, so get you a full stretch, is that good English? Full stretch as far as your particular machine allows, heels to butt, control the down, get that big stretch again, heels to butt. So I'll do a top set of 8 to 12, and then a back off set of 12 to 20. They're pretty arbitrary numbers, those. I just think I don't usually like going too heavy on these kind of isolation movements. This doesn't feel always so pleasant on my joints. So 8 to 12 is, the heavier set, and then the lighter set 12 to 20. Eventually I can make that 12 to 15 if I feel 20 is a bit redundant, but for now 12 to 20. And then we do 2 sets here, and we out. Alright, that's a wrap on the workout, guys. I feel like I've been here forever. Well, I work here as well, but feels like a bit of a doozy, that one. But yeah, all pretty cool that I can add things back in. So variations to today. We're back on the belt squat, stiff-legged deadlifts, which I could reintroduce last week and again today with improved performance. Happy days. Then the standard belt squat, and that's all good. So we're on those elevations, which allows a larger range of motion because I'm not the tallest person in the world. So very, very good. Quads got pumped up after that. It's a new one. Haven't done it in a long time. I could check my log. I probably will check my log when I kind of see what weight I've done before. Anytime I finish an exercise, I kind of take the exercise and I put it into a Excel spreadsheet essentially, and go, what's my personal record? When did I last use it? All that kind of stuff. So I'll be able to take the leg press, which I was doing on this day, put it on the log, and then check in on the belt squat and see what my previous performance was on that and stuff like that. Happy days though, we're all done. Let's get a move on. As always, if you're liking the content, hit the little subscribe here, much appreciated. If you want to watch another video, click this bad boy over here, and there are plenty of shorts going out as well with little technique tips. And as always, it's about progress over perfection. Coach Dan, signing off.